What's going on, guys? Here it's the 80s edition, best of 81 to be more specific, of Out of the Gate here. Track announcer Chris Griffin joining here in the Parks Racing studio as we get set for a nice week of racing. We've got some weather in the area, and we've had some weather over the weekend, and we'll have a sloppy main track to kick things off here on this Monday. We'll talk about tomorrow and Wednesday as well. One thing to point out is we did change those post times, so again, those post times are now going to be 12:25 Eastern time, so make sure you mark that down here as we continue on with this season right here in 2022. But we got 10 races on the card. We do have some scratches, so I'm going to go through some of these selections, and I'll get you the updated scratches and changes as we get closer to post time. But handicap right now for a sloppy main track, 10 races on the card, nice carryover in the Philly Big Five. Let's jump right in. Race number 1 is going to be 7 Furlongs, and I'm going to end up on the number 6 in here. I liked J Delta a lot, who's going to be scratched out of this spot at the 7,500 nominators of 3. Dreamin' of Daisies actually did run very well. She's 0 for 4 over a wet surface, does have that 1 second place finish, so hopefully she can turn things around a little bit in here. She's had a few shots at it, 27 lifetime starts with only 2 wins. I really like the 2 in this spot. I think this becomes a race where you can spread a little bit here in that early pick 4. Maybe you take a shot with some prices, because I don't think you can really zero in on a heavy favorite in this race. So we'll see how the track is playing there after that first race. A sloppy main track, I'll go with a 6, Dreamin' of Daisies. Not a strong opinion though in there, because my top pick did scratch. Race number 2, we got some scratches in there as well. 1.70 miles will be the distance, and I do have a strong opinion in here, but with the scratches, the price is going to go way down here. The horse was 10-1 in the morning line. This is going to drop way down. I actually have some bullet points that I'm going to point out on the live show as well for this horse. Is Irish Honor, a new barn, or the horse is in the new barn, I should say, but they can fire fresh. I mean, this horse has fired fresh before, won its debut at the maiden special weight over a wet fast track. Guess where? Right here at Parks. So Irish Honor, a 4-year-old, being by honor code. You get Kendra Carmouche, who signed on for the ride. Again, you're not going to get the 10-1, so that's dreamland. We can get rid of the 10-1. With the scratches, this price is going to come down. But you get Joe Taylor, you get Kendra Carmouche on a horse that had that huge work in Florida. January 8th, take a look at that work. 47-4, 7th best of 118 works that morning, I should say. This horse has also won over a wet track. A lot of things just seem to really fall into favor here with the 8 Irish Honor. I'm a little bit worried about the price. I think that handicappers are going to see the same thing I'm seeing. We'll see how this horse is going to run. Not going to be 10-1, but if you do get some value there in race number 2, I like the 8 quite a bit. That does it for our first segment. Let's talk about the live racing calendar. We released it. We got 5 added Saturdays. Here's me, I believe, with more on the live calendar here in 2022.
Join us at Parks for live racing in 2022. The live racing calendar has been released, and Parks will run Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Starting on May 7th, Parks Racing will add Saturdays to the schedule. Join us on Saturday afternoons for some of Horse Racing's biggest days. Our final Saturday program of 2022 will be on September 24th. That's Pennsylvania Derby and Cotillion Day. For more information, go to parksracing.com and make plans for live racing from Parks Racing.
Back here on Out of the Gate, track announcer Chris Griffin once again. Don't forget handicap for a sloppy main track here with the wet weather that we had over the weekend. Taking a look at this third race, and Jeopardy James. This horse ran really well last time out, just missed in the last effort. Is probably going to take a lot of money in here. Jamie Rodriguez not here this afternoon, so you're going to get a change of rider in there. Again, I'll have full scratches and changes for you, but let's take a look at this last effort right here at Parks. Arnaud Delacour has got Jeopardy James. This horse is down towards the inside. This horse is very game, hadn't run since August. He probably needed it, right? A 5-year-old by Speightstown has the upside. I guess the question might be the wet track. Hasn't been over a wet surface before, but being by Speightstown, I don't think is really going to have too much trouble with this. Jeopardy James is very game down towards the inside, loses to American Unity, ends up losing by a half length, but should be a much tighter racehorse this time around. I think Jeopardy James at a short price, 7-2 on the morning line, but again, some scratches in there, so that's going to be a tough favorite to knock there in race number 3. Race number 4, 6.5 furlongs. Taking a look at this one, and I'll go with the number 3, Golden Spoke. Just from a recency, has run good races so far here during the meet. Bill Hogan Jr. takes over the training duties. They tried the optional 16 last time. It didn't quite work out, so they dropped back down here for the 12.5 tag. It just seems like Golden Spoke. Look for some value in this race. I think it's 6-1 in the morning line. That's enough for me. look for a price there in that fourth race. So maybe start the day with that price in the first, maybe end your pick four with a price in the fourth, and you got a couple favorites there in the second and third legs of that early pick four. Race number 5, 10,000 N1X, and you get 6 furlongs in here. The number 2, Lawn Boy, I like this one quite a bit. I think this horse needed the last race, and this horse ended up winning. This horse drew away. Jeremy Laprida is going to take them out here for the first time. They claimed this horse last time out. Alexis Romero takes over the training duties on this 6-year-old who also likes a wet track. 2 starts over a wet track, has 1 win, 1 third place finish. And this horse has not missed in the last, 4 or 5 starts. This horse has been within a length of the winner at the wire. Ended up drawing away, wins by 2 last time in a race where I think this horse needed it. I think Lawn Boy really improves, so that's going to be the top selection here over the wet track. That's the 2 at a price, what was it, 8-1 on the morning line? I'll take that. Race number 6 here, 7 furlongs, 7,500 non-winners at 2. Go with the number 9 towards the outside in here, and that's Heated Battle. We're going to take a look at this replay. Heated Battle had trouble in the last race, still found a way to end up, in a really good spot. This is 2 starts back, actually. Last start, 7th beaten, 13.5. Not sure what happened last time, but this is 2 starts back in December. Heated Battle, light boot blinkers, tips into the 3 path, has to wait for room, might have cost Ruben Silvera the victory in there. I mean, a 5-year-old gelding by redeemed that's going to close very well in here. Daggerboard to the outside. Should we have seen this horse run by this great? Possibly. Maybe kind of looking at the rival a little bit, just hanging a little bit down towards the inside. But I think Heated Battle fits in this spot. 0 for 2 over a wet track, so don't discount this. When you see a wet surface out there, make sure you're finding some of the horses that you do like over and off track. Heated Battle, you get Silvera back aboard, Michael C. Arrow. I think this one fits. 8-1 on the morning line. Hopefully that's enough value there in the 6th race. Hey, speaking of value, this is a trainer that brings home a lot of long shots right here at Parks. Got a chance to hang out with them, spend some time on the backside, see some of the members of his crew and how they take care of the horses back there, and here's some of his story as well. So here is our interview and our video with trainer Herold Whylie right here at Parks.
Trainer Herold Whylie grew up in Jamaica with aspirations to be a jockey.
My uncle had a lot of horses in Jamaica, and I always want to be a jockey. Of course, I was way too tall and too heavy, so that didn't happen. So when I came here, I decided to come to the racetrack.
In the late 80s, Herold Whylie followed his passion and love for horses to get involved in racing.
I always loved horses, but I was at Garden State 1987, and I was with a trainer just hanging out, and I decided to give it a shot just by getting a few horses. I love the East Coast. That's first and foremost. I live in New York for over 35 years, and I used to commute from Brooklyn to Parks for over 23 years. I finally moved to New Jersey, which is a little bit easier. But at the time, I have small children, and I wanted to put a lot of time in with my kids. And I go back and forth every single day.
Racing has ups and downs, lessons Whylie learned over time.
Seems easy at first. I was winning some races and things went well for the first few months, and then everything turned south. And I really realized how tough it was, because I was just an owner, but I was in the barn every day. I, work for the trainer for free and pay him to take care of my horses at the same time. So that's how it started, and I just decided, you know what, I love this. I was an auto mechanic before, and I decided to just stick with the horses.
The thrill for the connections, and a trainer like Herold Whylie continues to drive their love for racing.
There's that instant gratification when they win, and I breed a few horses myself, and those, when they ran, it make you feel extra special that you get them to the races.
Whylie likes to make sure he represents when they win races, no matter how big or small.
You know what? Any race I win, the Jamaican flag is represented. That's why my colors are the Jamaican flags, okay? And I win some nice races. Before I started training as an owner, I won the Michael handicap in New York. I was second in the New York Derby, quite a few decent races. But I still haven't won my first stake race. here. So I'm working hard towards that.
Trainer Herold Whylie has advice for those that are getting involved in training.
Work hard and try to save every penny you can because you're going to need it down the road somewhere.
Thanks again to trainer Herold Whylie. Something I took from that interview there, driving from Brooklyn to Parks every single day and doing that for 20 years. I guarantee you he played a cassette tape or two on his travels into Parks. He had to, right? I know Herold Whylie knows it. Some kids don't know what a cassette tape is. What is happening here? What is really happening here? You don't know what a cassette tape is. I can't believe it. That's okay. I like those, all the little contraptions. We got to explain Walkmans. Maybe we'll do that on the one of the next episodes here of Out of the Gate. But let's get into this late pick 4 here. Race number 7, mile and 70 yards. The number 7 in here will be the top selection. You take a look at Jammin' Jimtown. Seems to be in the best form out of the other rivals in here. 0 for 5 over a wet track. And I took a look at these races before I knew we were going to be on a wet surface. So the 7 is going to be a tepid choice for me in there. This horse has not shown the ability over a wet surface. So just keep that in mind as you handicap today's 7th race. Race number 8 is a starter race. And as we get into some of these later races on the card, there's some real nice races. And we'll see what the weather does throughout the day. But Elusive Amelia, I think she's going to be tough to handle in here. A 5-year-old mare here for Jamie Ness, now 3rd start off the layoff. 2nd off the layoff has been a slam dunk for trainer Jamie Ness. I mean, he's had these horses that needed that comeback race, really improving that 2nd start. Her number just went through the roof. I mean, she just exploded last time out. She made a big move on the backstretch, into the far turn, opened up like a good thing, and she won it well. You get Ruben Silvera back aboard during the live show. We're going to show you a replay of this race. Elusive Amelia is going to be very tough to handle in that spot. She's 3-1 in the morning line. If she's anywhere near the early kick, if she's leading them up the backstretch, or if she's sitting in the 2-path, I think she's going to prove very tough to handle. She is facing some tougher runners in that 8th race, though. Race number 9, this is a nice race in here. It looks like a stakes race. It really does. Optional 35, 7 furlongs of distance. The number 9, Boldish, will be the top choice towards the outside here. Linda Rice and Eric Cancel. 4th beaten 7, but look at this horse's form prior to that. Nothing but wins and drawing away and winning by, 2+ lengths in 3 of those efforts. This is going to be a very tough horse to handle. Is 5-1 on the morning line. You get an outside post here for Linda Rice, who early on when she was sending some of the runners here, they weren't quite firing, but just the last few, they've been very well meant right here at Parks, and they've run really well. They've run off the screen and they've won impressively. So I think Boldish is one that fits in here. A 4-year-old colt, dialed in, should be able to handle the wet surface, has been over a wet track twice, has that 1/3 place finish. Boldish is the top selection. You could definitely spread in here though. 2 Boss, the number 1, by El Padrino, a Pennsylvania bred. This one's got some talent and ability. Really ran nicely last time out, so 2 Boss might be one to keep an eye on as well. I like the 9, I like the 1. Keep an eye on scratches as we get into some of these later races. We'll keep updating you throughout the afternoon as they come in. Race number 10 to close things out, 1 mile being the distance here, a $5,000 claiming race. Inequality, it just seems like it might be this horse's turn. This horse has run at that $5,000 level last time out. Prior to that, $7,500. It just kind of keeps dropping in class here. I think the Inequality, a 9-year-old gelding, look, 9 lifetime wins, 11 second place finishes from 58 lifetime starts. This horse has earned over $300,000 on the racetrack. This horse has been over a wet track 9 times with 1 win, 3 seconds, 2/3. This is not a single by any means, but at 8-1, Sylvester Gonzalez, who you saw in that video package, riding quite a few long shots in there. I think Inequality is one to have on your ticket to close out that Philly Big 5. That Philly Big 5, it's over $60,000 into that carryover jackpot. We'll talk about that plenty throughout the afternoon. A little bit cloudy outside. We'll see what the weather does. It's going to be a sloppy main track to kick things off here on this Monday. We'll race Tuesday and Wednesday. First post times at 12:25. We're going to have a tutorial on cassette tapes and Walkmans coming up. But thanks again for joining us here on this episode of Out of the Gate. We got 10 races coming your way. The main track is sloppy. We'll see you next Monday with another show on Out of the Gate. Good luck.